plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Jay McLevin. Got quite a bit to talk about here on this Monday. Had some baseball news on Friday night, and then had the first full weekend of preseason in the NFL. So it's been an interesting weekend. How you doing today, Jay?
Man, I'm doing wonderful. You know, I'm gonna say this until I'm blue in the face, man. As long as the Astros keep winning and the Yankees keep losing, life is beautiful, man. If I can get the Dodgers to jump on that bandwagon and the Mets to jump on that bandwagon and start losing, just so I feel better about my chances in the World Series, well, hell, that'd be the trifecta.
Speaking of them Yankees have been struggling. Lost 9 of their last 11 games. Coming out of the All-Star break, and I don't know. Do you think they're going to be able to get it turned around?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting, right? So if you look at the last 11 games, they've lost nine. Nine out of the last 11. And if you'd asked me that if this was possible at the beginning of the season or even hell right before the All-Star break, I'd have been like, hell no, these guys are solid. But now, like I said, man, you're starting to see, you know, the chinks in the armor. You know, you got a lot of guys out on injury. LeMahieu literally just jacked up his toe, so he's probably going to be out for a little bit. You got Severino. I mean, they're just having a hard time. Their ERA has literally ballooned up quite immensely. They were at around, I think, or the low threes as a team ERA. Now they're in the mid fours at starting pitching ERA, and their bullpen is even around the 4.1 or 4.2 in ERA. Their batting average is taking a severe hit. They're batting around 244 with four of those guys at around the 200 or less. So, I mean, hitting is taking a hit, pitch is taking a hit. I mean, these guys. I told Frankie, man, because he's a big Yankees guy. I said, man, the worst thing about the Yankees is injuries, and it just never fails with this team. I don't know if they just have an injury curse over it or what, but they just always have injuries, and that really is, I think, what's struggling or what's hurting this team.
Yeah. Injuries are catching up with them in the second half of the season. First half of the season, they stayed pretty healthy, other than a couple of the relievers. But now it seems like injuries are starting to pile up a little bit on the Yankees. What do you think about this Tatis Jr. news of him getting suspended for 80 games for violating the performance-enhancing drug policy in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of hit about that earlier. 80 games is what you get, man. I mean, luckily, that's all he got was 80 games. It could have been more. God, man, why did these guys put things in their body that they don't know all the ingredients that goes into what it is they're putting in? He claims he didn't know that, when he was trying to supposedly treat for wingworm, he didn't realize that it has certain levels of cholesterol in it, which is a steroid. I'm like, how do you not know this? Like, how hard is it to, if you're gonna get something from somebody, to get a or even Google, what's actually in it in terms of the components, so you can double check that against your ban list of substances, so you're not going to get an 80 game ban, because it's going to affect him a little bit financially. Obviously, 80 games is a lot of games, game checks to be missing. But I mean, just more than important than anything else, it's just your reputation's on the line. Probably won't get into the Hall of Fame now, because now he's linked to steroids. So he's going to be another one of those guys. I mean, it's just I just don't understand how you can be so careless. I mean, this is your livelihood. This is what you do for a living. And when you do something for a living, how do you not look at what goes into your body, as that is your instrument, that works for you?
Yeah, that's my thing. You have that list of what you can put in your body and what you can't. You should be taking that list to your doctor. That should be like the first thing you do with the list when you get it. Is the
Yeah.
doctor or any of your trainers, anybody that has anything to do with anything that you put in your body, you should make sure they know what's on that list and what you can and can't have, so you don't run into this. I mean, what I think happened, he was taking something to try to help with his recovery, because I think his recovery from that motorcycle accident was taking longer than what he thought it would. So that's probably what it was. And it might have been. I mean, you can get stuff in supplements, but still, you got to know what you're putting in your body. And I think he's probably done in San Diego.
Whether he's done or not, I mean, that's hard to say. But I'll say this, and here's another way of looking at it. If I'm Tatis Jr. and I got supposed ringworm, and this guy says, okay, take this shot and it'll get rid of ringworm or whatever, I'm gonna ask him, okay, what's the name of the shot? What's the name of the drugs you're giving me? And if he gives me that list, I'm gonna take that list to my doctor with MLB and be like, hey, look, this is what they're trying to give me. Is it, and I'll be honest with you, if you're going outside the organization for drug treatment, things like that you're just crazy. I would always go through the organization, so that way, if something was on there, you can say, well, I went to the organization. This is what they gave me, and then of course, I just think when you go outside of the organization with these privatized doctors, they don't know all the lists all the things that are on there, blase, blase. And I think you're just opening yourself up to a can of worms for things that you just don't know, and they're getting drug tested. I just think they're not being smart with the choices they're making with the things that they're putting in their bodies. It doesn't make sense to me.
No, I think Tatis will play again. I just don't know if he'll play for the Padres again. I think the
I
Padres
can't
kind of
imagine
look.
him not playing for the Padres. I don't know if that's severe enough that he wouldn't play for the Padres.
Well, here's
Unless
why.
he just
But why I say that is it isn't about like how severe that is. I think because they got Soto now, I don't know if they're going to be able to afford both of them, for one, and for
oh yeah.
two, with having Soto, they might not. The Padres might not want to invest that much money in Tatis because he hasn't proven to him that he's mature enough yet. He got in that motorcycle accident that's cost him the whole season so far, and then now you have this come out, so he's out the rest of this season and what, like 30 games next
Yeah, I
season.
think we came out to be like 20 games next year. I mean, at the end of the point is you lost out on a chance to be in the playoffs on top of 20 games next year. So you're really hurting your team on that level of an impact. But again, I agree with that. I said that too. I said they're bringing all these guys in like Bell. And of course, then they got Tatis and Machado. Then they bring in the closer from Milwaukee, and then you got Juan Soto himself. There's no way financially you can keep those levels of people on what the Padres earn. I mean, if you're a Yankees or a Dodgers, okay, I get it. You got outside sources of income beyond probably just baseball, so you're going to be fine. You can do those exorbitant contracts, but the Padres aren't on that level. They're just not. And I don't think there's no way that type of market can support those types of contracts, that many of them anyway, and not go over the luxury tax, which they're going to have to pay. I mean, it's just impossible, I think, for that franchise.
Yeah,
Which
I think
again,
that's where they're
which
going to run
again
into
makes
problems.
the yeah, which what I'm saying is, which again makes it even worse what Tatis did, because you got to figure San Diego is going all in, right? They're going all in to get this championship. And they probably figured they probably couldn't keep the whole core again next year, right? They're probably going to have to, like you said, get rid of it. So they went all in this year, And then Tatis goes and does something like this and just completely, takes, a major bat out of that lineup, which they needed against the teams like the Dodgers or the Mets.
Yeah, and I think with the way that the contracts are, I think they have about a 2 or 3 year window, and then they're going to be in trouble when it comes to trying to pay everybody because they got Soto under contract for 3 years. I'm not sure on Bill, and I'm Tatis. I think I'm wanting to say they still have him for a couple years.
I believe Bell's in a contract year.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, you're going to have some of them, but they're going to have to. Yeah, I just don't. I think Tatis hurt his chances though because if a team has to choose who they're going to keep, they're going to keep the guy that's been there and been more reliable over the guy that got in a motorcycle wreck and now in trouble for PEDs. You know what I mean? They won't want to pay the guy that's on the field.
Yeah, and I think if I was them, I don't know if Tatis is in a contract year, but if he's not, then I'm definitely going to be trading him for picks and see if I can rebuild through the farm system for what I lost in Tatis. So yeah, absolutely. To that point, I think he could be on the market just because of that alone. They're certainly not going to trade Juan Soto. I don't think they're trading Machado because Machado's playing well. So I think Tatis, would be the guy that's on the list.
And it wouldn't even
Which
be
is
because
great
of
to
his.
say that.
And it really wouldn't be because of his play. It'd be because of the off the field stuff.
Yeah, it's just because of him not being, dependable to be able to pull that off. So, and again, when you're paying that kind of money to somebody, I mean, you definitely need them on the field.
Expect him to be there.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And and then you look at a team like the Dodgers, man. Like right now, I don't think anybody can. I mean, there's very few teams I think that can actually stop the Dodgers. Honestly, I mean, but then again, I think if you look at their batting average really isn't all that much. I mean, it's comparable comparable to the Astros. It's comparable to New York. Even their on base percentage is comparable to the Astros and is comparable to the Mets. So I know Jonathan Mathis is pretty headstrong with the Dodgers, but this team is beatable.
Oh yeah, I think
Like I
I
said,
think the Mets.
go
I
ahead.
think the Mets are going to beat them.
And it's possible with the way DeGrom. He just struck out 10 batters last night. Had another great outing with the day DeGrom and Scherzer's playing, and then of course you got Pete Alonso and you got all those
Uh,
guys. I think that team is going to be extremely tough. I mean,
Bassett has been pitching pretty good for him.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I look at the Yankees on base percentage and it's right around 300. I look at the Dodgers on base percentage and they're around 400. But then I look at the Astros and they're around 500. I didn't check the Mets out, but that on base percentage is a pretty big deal. And if I think that the Dodgers, Astros, and Mets are all pretty much in there. I think the Yankees have definitely taken a huge step back. And the bad thing for them, the bad thing for the Yankees taking that much of a step back to where your on base percentage is at 300 is the fact that your pitching ERA is around 4 on your bullpen and your starting pitching. So now you can't even rely on your pitching to help out your offense, right? Or even vice versa. Whereas the Astros, the Dodgers, and the Mets, you can have an off pitching night and your offense could pull you through, or vice versa. You know what I mean? Those teams
Yeah.
do those kinds of things. And those are the teams that usually make it to the World Series where, if you're having a bad pitching night, your hitting carries you through and you keep on, you keep trucking.
Oh yeah. One thing I did want to say before we keep moving on is the what the Astros done yesterday with the shooting victims' families was pretty cool. Um,
Yeah.
the way
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
brought them all in for the game, and one of them got to throw out the first pitch, and they had a lot of involvement yesterday. I thought that was pretty cool of the Astros to do that.
Yeah. And then, of course, the cherry on the top was they asked Bregman to hit a home run for them. And, yep, Bregman hit a home run.
Yeah.
Go Breggy. Old Breggy came through, gave him the home run, which I thought was just, phenomenal. So, I tell you, man, look, Frankie calls me a fanboy. I don't care what he said, man. You can't deny what the Astros are doing. These dudes are just playing, out of their minds too. And I think that right now the three best teams in baseball are the Mets, the Dodgers, and the Astros. I think everybody else at this point I think that's your top tier, and then everybody else is below that tier. Yankees are probably at that next level tier. And right along with the Padres and probably St. Louis and so forth. And then you get the tiers after that. So I'm telling you, those three teams, man, they're just playing out of this world right now.
Yeah, there's some good matchups today. You got Otani and Castillo pitching against each other. That should be fun.
That's gonna be. Hey, guys, is like, damn it, that was my pitcher. I should have him.
Yeah, I wish we had him back, but hey, I knew they were going to get rid of him. That's what we do. But we almost saw history last night. Rasmussen for the Rays took a perfect game into the ninth inning.
I really thought he was going to get that.
Ended up getting broke up.
He was going to get it.
But how the crazy this is. Today makes 10 years ago was the last perfect game, 10 years to today, by Felix Hernandez, and it was against the Rays. And you almost had a Rays pitcher get a perfect game last night.
I mean, to get a no-hitter just on its own merit is pretty damn hard to do.
Yeah.
But to get a perfect game is just, I mean, it's like the damn unicorn. It's like Otani being a pitcher and a hitter. You almost just never see that.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, it's absolutely crazy.
Well, it's been 10 years since we've seen one. So that shows how hard it is to accomplish, because, 10 years, last person to do it was Felix Hernandez for the Mariners. That was the Mariners' first ever perfect game.
I mean, we don't even see starting pitchers going above 6 because they're usually at the 100 pitch count by the time they get to the 6th inning. So, I mean, even just to get to the 9th inning is just crazy. I mean, his command and his placement was on point, for the most of the night. And you just don't see that in baseball right now. 6, 7 innings. If they go 7, that's even a stretch. It just seems like right now 6 seems to be, and it's not. I don't think so much the managers pulling them. It's just they're getting their pitch counts are pretty much running out at about the 6th inning or so.
Well, you get some managers that will pull them even if their pitch count isn't high. As soon as they get to facing the order for the 3rd time, because the analytics they pull them. But no, what we were talking about that earlier on my new baseball show was that how a perfect game is even harder to get now because of that, because they take pitchers out, because it's even harder. It's harder to get a no-hitter now because most times managers won't leave you in. Now we see more combined no-hitters than what we do just a pitcher. A pitcher staying in and pitching all 9 innings. It's just, you don't see it very often no more. Back in the day, if a pitcher was in the 8th inning and hadn't gave up anything, there was no doubt that pitcher was coming back out for the 9th.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing about analytics. I see the value of analytics, but I also see, how it kind of takes away from the fundamentalistic of baseball, the natural of baseball, right? But again, I mean, hey, I get it. I understand, Billy Bean and them damn A's, they just had to go and screw up baseball for us. But I get analytics. I mean, I get the likelihood and the probabilities, things like that. I mean, that is a part of strategy, just like the shift, is a part of strategy, right? So I wonder, they're going to get rid of the shift, I think, in the next year or so. At what point are they going to get rid of analytics and say, hey, you can't do analytics anymore? Now you just got to, let your guy go out there and do his thing.
Bad thing is analytics is starting to affect every sport. But it's really affected baseball a lot, because now you got managers that are basically just puppets and are doing whatever these guys up in the office that are crunching numbers are telling them. And it's like, analytics work to a point, but you also have to have the eye test. You also have to have a feel of the game, because every game is different. You have to have a feel for your team.
Yeah.
A feel for even with your pitcher. You have to have the feel with your pitcher, knowing, well, yeah, he's good, or no, I need to go take him out. Not, oh, he's at 70 pitches and he's getting ready to face their leadoff batter for the third time. Oh, analytics says we got to change. No, if he's still throwing good, leave him in there. But if he, I mean, it just takes a lot of the. Really, a manager's just a puppet anymore because they don't get to go by the feel of the game anymore. It's all numbers. And I think that's one.
And another thing, analytics doesn't give you the physical and emotional state of that player at that specific time either. I mean, those things play a lot of factors into it. So yeah, I mean, analytics it's a good tool, but it is what it is. It's a tool amongst many other tools, right?
Yeah.
The game, managers, perception, things like that. Those are also tools. So, I think the best ball clubs are the ones that use analytics, but not as a sole end all be all.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It can't be the be all. And you get some clubs.
That's what a lot of people are. I think sometimes some of these managers are going wrong is when it's the be all.
Oh yeah.
I mean, honestly, if you want to go by analytics, you might as well just take the head coach out of it and just have a telephone that tells the bench coach, "Hey, go do this."
Ring.
Swing away, ring, take him out. I mean, damn. I mean, it's almost to that level though at that point.
Oh yeah, and that's the bad thing. There's a lot of teams that are basically like that. You have people in the office that are calling all the shots. It's all about numbers, and I don't know. I think it works. I think it's a good thing to a point, but it can't. You have to you have to throw everything in there. You can't just have one tool.
Oh yeah.
And think that accounts for everything.
Oh no, I totally agree with you. It's interesting. I think I believe that the Yankees are going up against Tampa Bay tonight. Actually.
Yes.
And I'm kind of curious to see how they do against Tampa. I'm not sure I know the Dodgers are also playing this evening, but I'm not sure who the Dodgers are playing.
The Dodgers are playing the Brewers.
That could be a good game. Brewers aren't playing. I mean, they're still the Brewers are a good team. So,
and then you have the Mets and the Braves this evening as well. That should be a good game.
So I don't know how many opportunities Logan needs to have to take over first place, but I mean, honestly, this was just the Braves to lose, and they did for the most part.
And then the Astros play the White Sox.
Yeah, we got a 3-game homestand against the Sox. I don't know if we'll sweep it, but I think we take at least 2 out of the 3 against the Sox. And I wouldn't be surprised if they sweep it at this point. The way their pitching is going and the way the hitting is going and the way the Sox are even really kind of playing right now, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we swept tonight. I think right now we're on a 4-game, I believe it is, hitting streak.
Cueto's pitching for the Sox. He's pretty good. He's having a good season.
I know Cueto. The Astros have played Cueto a few times when he was with the Reds.
Oh yeah, I loved Cueto. It's another guy they shipped away.
Yeah, I remember Cueto. He actually beat us. I think Cueto also played for Kansas City, and I think it was when he was with Kansas City that he beat the Astros in the playoffs that year.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of good baseball games on today.
What do you think about some of these preseason games? I mean, I'll just take one guy out of the thing. Pickett. I thought Pickett for the Steelers was phenomenal. As a matter of fact, I think him and I think Malik Willis. I think those were the 2 best look like quarterback prospects that came out of that draft, and both of them are just playing well. I kind of question Pickett being taken at the first round over Malik Willis. I thought Malik Willis, should have, in my opinion, got the first round nod. Of course, it didn't happen that way. But when you look at Pickett, I think he threw for like 95 yards. He didn't even have he did not have an incomplete pass until his 11th attempt, and he finished with 2 touchdowns against Seattle. I mean, how crazy! And that was his debut.
Yep.
I mean, that's your damn debut. I mean, and I get it's preseason, so I'm not trying to read too much into that. But at the same time, it is what it is still. And I think for a debut for a guy, like him, I mean, damn, that could be somebody that I think could take over the reins, in not too long if he just continues to keep developing.
Yeah. He like you said, you can't take it. get too excited, but you gotta look at it as a good thing. He came out, looked comfortable, played well, and if he turns out to be a guy for him, the Steelers are going to make all kinds of money off this dude because he's almost. I mean, he played for Pittsburgh, so
Yeah, he's like right up the street.
yeah. So he's. I mean, you know, what I mean, he's like almost basically a hometown guy. So if
Right.
he turns into being a superstar quarterback, uh, that's going to be a big plus for the Steelers. And I mean, you got Trubisky there. Who knows how Trubisky plays? It could. I mean, you might see Pickett before the end of this season if Trubisky's struggling.
Well, it looked like from what I gathered of it, Trubisky he's having a good camp as well.
Yeah, from what I
He's
hear,
throwing the
yeah.
ball well. Yeah, Trubisky's doing actually pretty good at camp. So I really kind of think it's still his job to lose. I think
Yeah.
Trubisky, in my opinion, is going to be the starter. I think Mason Rudolph will probably back him up. I think Pickett's at the third spot just because I think they want to see more development from him. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to be long before Pickett slides up to that starting role. And I think when they feel like they can get rid of Trubisky and just turn the reins over to Pickett. And I will say he's also a mobile quarterback because he had 3 rushes for 16 yards. So he shows that he can be mobile. And he also shows that he has, good passing. So, I think that's going to be something that they look at and they take real seriously, probably within the next year or two.
Well, what'd you think of Trey Lance?
That's the one damn game I did not catch. I didn't hear anything bad about him. So I can't imagine it that he had a bad one. Honestly, I did not catch the 49ers game. How did that work out for them? I'm pulling it up right now just so I can look at the stats on it. But
Yeah, I watched some highlights. He actually didn't look too bad. He went 4 for 5 for 92 yards, and he threw a couple pretty nice passes. I'll be honest with you, he looked better than what I thought he would because you know me, I haven't been real high on him. I think the 49ers are making a mistake, but
right.
I'll give him credit. He looked pretty good, and he looked a lot better than I thought he would.
Yeah, well, he definitely. You know what's crazy is he definitely played better than Jordan Love played. Well, Jordan Love went 13 of 24, 176, 2 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
So,
but LaFleur said that 2 of the interception wasn't his fault. I was like, "What do you mean they ain't his fault? He's the quarterback."
yeah, I never understood that. You're still throwing the ball. I mean, what is he? How is he saying it wasn't his fault? I don't quite understand that. Nick Sutterfield didn't do too bad for the Niners. He went 8 of 11, 103 and a touch. But I think Trey Lance, yeah, he showed it. According to this, they said he showed his big arm in the preseason stint for them. It looks like he had a 76-yard touchdown pass to Danny Gray. So it shows that he can throw the deep ball. I think it's going to be more. How is he handling the pressure? And I'm really surprised that they didn't see more of him out there on the field, outside of just what I think, 5 or 6 passes. I think I would have liked to have seen maybe more around the 13 to 14 passing attempts, or at least 3 or 4 series, just so I know what I have in Trey Lance. Because I mean, again, Garoppolo was the starter forever. Trey Lance kind of sat in the wings. How do you really know what you got in Trey? I think I'm giving him at least 3 or 4 series, which I know you don't typically do that for a starter, but I think I'm going to give Trey Lance the whole damn half, see what he can do, and then I'll turn the second half over to my, second and third string. So I'm really kind of surprised that they kept Trey Lance in such a limited role, considering the fact that he's, has really, this is his first year ever being a starter. I don't know, man. I think I want to see more from him,
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't understand why they didn't play him more, but sorry about that. I was getting a message, but no, I don't understand why they didn't play him more. But then you go the other way with it. Look what happened to Zach Wilson on Friday night, where he suffers a non-contact injury, and it's like, you know what I mean? So it's weird because you can see a guy get his head knocked off, and it's like he gets up fine sometimes, and then the guy's just running down the sideline, and all of a sudden his knee goes out. So it's
yeah. I mean, it's true, and
that,
I get that it can happen, but at the same time, I'm probably thinking to myself, okay, I haven't got rid of Jimmy G. He's still on the team. He's still in the wings. He's still there. So I have a safety blanket. God forbid if something did happen to Trey. I've got a safety blanket. But I still really need to see what I need to see in Trey to know that letting go Jimmy G is the right move. And how do I know that if I don't see enough game film or see him enough games to prove that? And I don't think Trey Lance has really proved, to at least to my satisfaction, that he's the guy. And so I would like to see. That's why I wanted to see more from him to see what he could actually do, rather than 5 damn passes. Because to me, five passes is a waste of time. I don't even know why you even suit up for 5 passes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand that either. Why you I don't know. That's why I wish they'd just do away with the preseason. Because, I mean, like me and my dad were talking yesterday, you can get hurt walking down the street. So, I mean, there's always a level of somebody getting hurt. And I understand, like, even with Zach Wilson's injury, nobody was around him. So that's something that, or he didn't get hit. That's something that could have happened at a practice. I understand that.
Right.
But why not? Why even have guys out taking that chance in the preseason?
Well, I mean, I get the idea of preseason. I think you need to have preseason, but I don't necessarily think you would have your starters in the preseason because, like you said, of risk of injury. But I think I want preseason just to see, the players that are either on the bubble or that I invited to camp or that I brought in as draft picks. I need to see what they can do. So I think you need preseason in order to know who to cut and who to keep. Now you're not going to, cut your starters, so I don't see the point of playing the starters.
Yeah.
In the preseason, with the exception of like a guy like Trey Lance, who's never really been a starter, and you don't really know what you got in him. That might be the exception to the rule. But for the most part, you really need to be looking at those guys because you figure you got 80 guys in camp. You got to get down to about 55. That means there's like 30 guys that you need to figure out who you want to keep and then who you're going to get rid of. But how do you know that unless you got a preseason?
Yeah. Well, I understand that. That's why I'm saying cut it to like 2 games. Cut it to like 2 games and don't play your starters unless like it's a situation like you're talking. But I don't know. I don't know if there's really a great answer to it though, because I understand. I understand both ways. I don't want to take
but then Gonzo,
because you don't want to take opportunity from young players either. So
I get that, but then it also goes back to capitalism too, and that preseason games means
money.
money. It's money in the bank. It's ticket sales. It's concessions. It's whatever.
And get this, you're getting a product where you don't even see hardly any of the starters. So you're not getting like a full product, but you still pay full price for those tickets. My God.
Yeah, that's the only thing. I think if they're not going to play the starters, they should give you like a half price.
Yeah.
Like, whatever the ticket is, cut it in half, and that's what we'll charge.
Preseason tickets shouldn't be the same price as a regular season ticket. I mean, I'm sorry, they just shouldn't.
Yeah, if you're going to charge me regular season prices, you better give me regular season players.
Yeah, I want regular season effort, damn it.
And I get that. Trust me, I absolutely, unequivocally get that.
But you're right. It's all about money.
Yeah, crazy.
All about money.
That's crazy. Man, what'd you think about Aqib Talib's brother shooting the damn football coach?
Yeah.
The Little League game. Like, what the hell is this? What's this world coming to? And I saw that the other day, and I was like, okay, that. I don't think that's real. Maybe that's fake news. And then the more and more I kept hearing about it, or seeing it, or whatever, and then when it came out on ESPN, I'm like, oh, well, I guess it's not fake news. I guess it's real.
Dude, it's getting to the point you're almost are afraid to leave your damn house anymore.
When you can't go to a Little League football game because you're scared to get shot, or you're scared to be a coach of a team because, like you said, you don't know if you're going to get one of these crazy parents. Or in this case, I don't know. It was a parent. It might have been. I think was it his son or was it Talib's son? If it was Talib's son, then he would have been the uncle. So I don't.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that, but
either way, man. I mean, regardless of whatever. How are we shooting the damn coaches?
Yeah, luckily, no kids got hurt in this mess. I don't know. It's crazy that this world has just gotten to a point where people don't value life, and it's sad because were just killing each other for no reason. And I mean, a youth football game. Come on.
It just I don't know, man. I just don't know what would, if I'm a parent and I'm sitting at a football game, what possibly could make me want to shoot somebody? I don't get that. I don't understand it. And then Damian Hernandez said, "Come on, Dave. See, that's why I can't take you seriously. You say he's a backup, and he was in the damn NFC Championship. Come on, come on,
And
come on."
hell, he was in the Super Bowl a few years ago.
Yeah, that's right. He was. You're right. And again, that's why Damian, you know, you're my boy, but boy, I tell you what, man, when it comes to making takes,
what do you think about these Cowboys committing 17 penalties in the first preseason game? What's up? Does Mike McCarthy have no control over there? Are they just doing what they want to do, or what?
If you're making 17 penalties, obviously he does it. Obviously, there's no discipline. So clearly, I think you have your answer. I mean, one thing about the Cowboys, they're consistent. They will consistently give you penalties. That is no doubt about that. You know, and that's what I was saying. You know, it wasn't so much that the Niners, you know, beat the Cowboys. It was that the Cowboys beat themselves during that playoff game. You know, I mean, there's no way you're making 16 penalties in the first half and you think you're going to win a football game. Now, I will say this. Could you imagine, if you will, they won by one touchdown, or I should say one possession, right? Take away at least half of those damn penalties, you know, against the Cowboys in the first half, and the Cowboys are probably advancing past the 49ers. But penalties, I mean, it just has them strapped down. It had them strapped down last year. It's got them strapped down, obviously, this year in the preseason. So, I mean, what are you going to do if you're a Cowboys fan? All you can do is just wait for Jerry to die, get a general manager, get the right coach in, get the team back on track, and let's go. I mean, you're just waiting for, you know, an old person to naturally leave the earth.
Fuck, man, Mike McCarthy has to do something. There's no way you should have 17 penalties. That's just. Yeah. And I didn't. Did you watch it? Did you watch the game? I didn't watch any of it. So, I mean,
Oh no, the Astros were on.
Okay. Well, the reason I was asking, I was wondering if they were like.
I don't really watch the Cowboys preseason so much because they're not playing the starters. They're, like you said, we're getting a lot of the backups. They're just trying to figure out who to cut, who to keep. So I don't really get. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man. When the Astros are on, I'm gonna watch the Astros. Unless the Cowboys were in a playoff game or something, I'm watching the Astros. But,
yeah, I don't watch much of preseason at all. I was just wondering because I was wondering if they were like legit penalties or if the referees got a little whistle happy as well.
The Cowboys are legit. I would put money at 17 penalties. You know, there's got to be some legitimacy. 1 or 2, 3 or 4. You can probably say whatever. 17, no, that's they're probably legit. And it's the Cowboys, and we typically do offsides, or we typically do, you know, pass interference, or, you know, we're roughing the. I mean, we'll do something stupid. It is what
it is. He says we'll do something stupid.
I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, I've watched the Cowboys long enough to know that. And they don't really do it so much, you know, in the regular season. So I don't know if I'm really worried about 17 penalties in a preseason game because, again, they're not really even the starters.
Yeah.
But the Cowboys typically will go throughout the regular season and be fine. You know, penalties won't be an issue, whatever. But the minute you put us in the playoff game, I'm telling you, man, penalties are coming. They're coming. I'm just waiting. With bated breath, I'm just waiting on the Cowboys to commit those penalties. I mean, it's just – and if it's not a penalties, it's always something, right? You had Tony Romo who couldn't get the ball down, laces out for the field goal kick that cost him that. I mean, it's always something, right? I mean, it's just – and then, you know, when the Cowboys don't make it to the playoffs for the past 20 years, they're not getting blown out. They're just not winning.
Yeah, and most of them have been close games. Like
I don't know.
Like a couple years, or no, it's been about 5 years ago now. Aaron Rodgers made that throw down the sideline there at the end of the game to beat the Cowboys in the playoffs.
I mean, it's
they've had
incredible,
chances. They've
man.
just haven't been able to win a close game in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, okay, so when Tom Brady won his Super Bowl run with Tampa that year, Dallas played them.
Yep.
You know that week 1, Dallas played Tampa right off the rip. And if you watch that, minus the kicker, Cowboys beat Brady and the Bucks.
Yep.
The damn kicker couldn't make a 35-yard field goal and couldn't make a point after attempt. And the Cowboys lost by 4. Or no, they lost by 3. Excuse me. They lost by 3. But they convert the field goal, they convert the point after attempt, and Cowboys win by 1. I'm just saying the Cowboys always find a way, to shoot themselves in the foot, whether it's on special teams like it was in this case, or penalties like it was in, the 49ers playoff game last year. I mean, they always just find a way to do something to shoot themselves in the foot. It just happens every damn year. Every year, Gonzo. Every year. From Wade Phillips,
let me ask you
Dan
this.
Gailey, all of them.
Ask you this. Kyle Shanahan, do you think that he's overrated as a coach? Do you think that maybe some of why people are so high on him is still because of his name? I mean, this is a dude that's been to 2 Super Bowls, but it was lost the Super Bowls. Everybody talks about how great of a offensive mind he is, but if you look when he's had anybody at quarterback besides Jimmy G, the 49ers have struggled. We'll find out this year.
Who the 49ers really had?
Well, no, they ain't had no other good quarterback. I'm not saying they had other good quarterbacks. Yeah. I'm basically saying that right there just because Damien wants to say that the 49ers didn't get to the Super Bowl because of Jimmy G. They got there because of the Debo and their defense. Okay. But why would anytime they have another quarterback play, do they lose?
Well, and I'll tell you this: for people who say that Kyle Shanahan's not a good coach, who do you figure was the one that utilized Debo in that way?
Yeah.
Who do you think was the one that got that defense to do what they did? I mean, all those components. I mean, they made it to a Super Bowl. They beat the Packers in Green Bay. I mean, you don't think that Kyle Shanahan is a part of all that? Yes, I mean, you can make the case, but hell, every coach doesn't go out there and win the game, but they put players in position to win the games. And Kyle Shanahan has done that with the 49ers despite Jimmy G's inefficiencies at playing the quarterback position. And we all know Jimmy G is subject.
Hey, man, they didn't have Kaepernick with Shanahan. Kaepernick was with Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
We know they had Kaepernick, but not Kaepernick wasn't on the team with Shanahan.
He put the stupidity in all caps.
Yeah. Like, dude, well, we know Kaepernick was a 49er. He took him to the Super Bowl and an NFC championship game, but that wasn't the Shanahan era. That was the Jim Harbaugh era.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about. He's talking about Watson too, looking bad. I'm not worried about Watson. Watson will snap into it, man. He's been out for what?
I was gonna say, dude ain't played for a year and a half.
Yeah, he gonna have a little rust. Come on, cut him some slack. I think he's gonna be fine. But he's gonna have another year off anyway, so it's not gonna matter. Man, yeah, that's pretty. I think that's exactly what's gonna happen. I think he's gonna have another year off. Honestly, if he doesn't get a year, I would be very, very surprised. Honestly, because I don't think it's gonna be 8 games. So, and I know Roger is really looking for that year, and he's pressing it pretty hard to the point where everybody knows that he's pressing it hard. So, I can't imagine Watson walking away with less. I don't think he's gonna let that happen. And again, when it comes to Kyle Shanahan, not many people can get a team to the Super Bowl or even, to an NFC championship game playing the way that, Garoppolo was playing with the amount of turnovers and things like that he was doing. He really had to rely heavily on Elijah Mitchell, Debo, that defense, things like that to really get them, over the hump. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, to me, that's a testament to being a good coach is being able to work those adversities and still get your team there.
No, I agree. I think the first Super Bowl when he was in Atlanta, he just had some kind of a collapse there in the fourth quarter. I don't know what happened there. Because they should have won that game. That was the second half was I don't know. And then with San Francisco, the year they were there, they had opportunities to win that game and probably win the game if they don't get that uh, stupid offensive pass interference call on George Kittle right before halftime that took a
Right.
San Francisco touchdown off the board, and the 49ers probably win that game. So I mean, I don't think he's overrated. I think he's earned the respect and to get talked about the way he's got just by the, the stuff he's been able to do. And like you said last year, changing the game plan and getting Debo more involved. He finds different ways to give the team the best chance to win. So I think he's a good coach. I just hope that Lance is as good as they think he is. Because if not, I think him and Lynch could be in some trouble there in San Francisco.
Well, that's very well true. And going back to the Atlanta game, they lost that game to Brady because of the defense and not because of that offense. The defense took the pressure off of Brady in that third and fourth
Yeah,
quarter and allowed Brady to do what Brady does. And when you let Brady operate without the threat of a rush or the pressure, he's going to pick you apart. 20 ways from Sunday. That's what Brady does. And he's always done it that way. Had Atlanta come out in the third quarter and play the third and fourth quarter defensively like they did the first two, you're not looking at a Patriots Super Bowl. You're looking at Atlanta Super Bowl. So that Ross wasn't due to the offense, which Shanahan's an offensive minded guy. It was due to that defense and the fact that they took pressure off of Brady.
yeah, that's true. But then they couldn't get nothing going offensively once Brady started getting going. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
their defense fell apart. You're right. I mean, you're up 28-3, your defense
yeah.
your defense has to fall apart for you to lose that game.
Which I don't know. I mean, if you had the game plan in the first half, how are you going away from the game plan in the second half? Just makes no sense to me. I mean, unless you're just getting comfortable. But I don't know how you get comfortable against Brady. So again, that game, I don't know why they deviated
Yeah.
from that first half
You
game
don't get
plan.
you don't get comfortable against Brady and Belichick.
I
Speaking
don't
of
know.
speaking of Belichick, reports are that the Patriots offense looks a mess in camp.
Yeah, buddy. Don't tell Frankie and Pride that though. They'll swear up and down that they're good to go and ready to play. But again, you lost Josh McDaniels, and you try to supplement that with Matt Patricia and Joe Judge, along with, I guess, a little bit of Belichick thrown in.
Joe
And neither one of
Judge.
those guys ever was a quarterback's coach or really, but anything really to do with offense. They were mostly special teams, defense, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I don't know. And now, quote unquote, the de facto offensive coordinator is going to be Patricia. I guess he's supposed to be calling most of the plays. But this is a guy who went 3-13 with Detroit, and I don't know how you're going to rely on that. So, yeah, I
And
mean,
he was a
Mac
defensive
Jones,
and he was a
man,
defensive coordinator when he last time he was in New England.
of course. And so go figure that one. I mean, you know, I'm not going to give all my hints away, but one of the topics on Unscripted for Tuesday is top 5 coaching staffs. And I'll be honest with you, I got Belichick and the Patriots at number 5. And the only reason they're even on this damn list is because Bill Belichick is the head coach. But you take Bill Belichick off this coaching system, and
Yeah.
you're basically looking at garbage, doo-doo, caca. So the only reason they're even in this list is because of Bill Belichick. If it was not for him, the Patriots would not be in the top 5. Crazy life.
Yeah. So top 5 coaching staffs. Okay, that'll be a good one.
Don't worry, you'll be on there Tuesday. We'll go into
Yep.
it. You give me your top 5, and I'm looking forward to seeing who your top 5 is.
Man, do you think the Jets are cursed? First
Man,
Becton gets hurt. Now Wilson gets hurt.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It
Yeah,
seemed like they finally had a good draft. Seemed like they were finally starting to do some things right. And then now it seems like they can't get out of their own damn way.
I think the whole damn state of New York is cursed. The Yankees are injury riddled. The Jets are injury riddled. I swear to God, if I'm Buffalo, I'm gonna move the team to Connecticut.
The Giants are just the Giants.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know the Giants have look. I think the curse leaves the Giants only because they know the Giants themselves are in rebuild mode, and they're not going to mess with the rebuild mode. I mean, let's be honest. Speaking of rebuild, is it just me or does Daniel Jones just look like caca?
I didn't see any of this weekend. I honestly thought he would look better under Dable, but like I said, I didn't see, but he didn't look good this weekend.
He'd be better under Dable too. And I don't know how much to blame on him and how much to blame on the offensive line. I'm going to blame more on him than I put the offensive line for the fact of the matter, he can't make a damn read fast enough. Like he is slow as molasses at making his reads. And he can't pick up the pressure to save his life. So when you get a guy who can't pick up the pressure and is slow to make reads, well, I mean, how are you going to be an effective quarterback at that level?
Yeah. Did Saquon play?
I believe Saquon did play. Or maybe I got to go back and check. I just looked at some of Daniel's replays.
Okay.
I didn't see the game. I just watched some of the replays on Daniel Jones. I don't think Saquon. I can't imagine Saquon playing. I can double tap that, but I don't think he played. I don't think he played. The Giants did beat the Patriots, but it does not look like he did not play.
Okay. I was gonna say I didn't think he would.
No, he
That
did
dude
play. I
wouldn't step on the
apologize.
field till
He
it's
did play. Saquon Barkley had 4 carries for 13 yards. That's about 3.3 per average. His 5 yards was his longest. And
Here's
then
my thing.
he also got 1 pass for 8 yards.
Why put him out there for 6 plays? I just don't, if you're going to take that risk, to me, I'm going to take. If I'm taking the risk, he's playing more than that. You know what I mean? You're taking a big risk to get him 6 plays.
I just think there's no reason to play Saquon. You know Saquon
Yeah.
can play. I don't know that you really want to risk a guy who, let's be honest, is injury prone, and I think is also cousins with I think DeMarco Cousins, Saquon Barkley, and AD are all related. I firmly believe that their family trees are linked up some kind of way, and that they all had that same common injury chromosome that is so prevalent in all of their careers. So prove me wrong. Give me some DNAs in here. Let's get Maury Povich on the line, and let's find out who the father is.
Find out who the father is.
No, but I mean, these guys are. I don't know if you play him, man. I just think he's. I don't think I want to risk it.
No, I wouldn't risk it. He ain't been able to make it through a regular season. What makes you think he can make it through a preseason?
Huh?
He hasn't been able to make it through a regular season. What makes you think he can make it through a preseason?
Well, yeah, and that really is the point. I don't think I'm gonna. I can't look. You can't tell the Giants what the Giants going to do. What the Giants want to do. I just think the bigger issue here, is not so much Saquon, but it's going to be Daniel Jones. Because without a field general, it doesn't matter how good your running back is, your offensive line. If your quarterback sucks, you're still you're not progressing in the rebuild of your franchise. And I think they're going to give Dable's going to give Daniel Jones more reps, I think, throughout preseason. I think Daniel Jones probably will be the starter going into the season. But I'm going to tell you this. If Daniel Jones sucks in the regular season, I'm telling you right now, mark my words, he will be on somebody's bench, whether it be the Giants bench as a backup or somebody else's as a backup. But he's going to be a bona fide backup at some point if he does not get better at making the reads and recognizing the pressure. He's going to be somebody's backup quarterback.
Oh yeah,
That's
I
the
definitely
fact.
think this is his last chance in New York. If he
I
don't,
think it's his last chance anywhere. I don't know if anybody touches him
yeah, that's true.
outside of a backup role because his body of work that he's going to show people is not going to it's not going to give him any credit.
Yeah, but we're
You know
getting
what
ready
I'm
to see.
saying?
But we're getting ready to see Geno Smith start for the Seahawks.
Good God, Geno Smith in the sea. That just tells you everything you need to know. That literally tells you everything you need to know about the Seahawks this year. If
did you
Drew
learn any?
Lock and Geno Smith are your guys,
Yeah.
God, what a time to be alive in Seattle.
Did
Holy
it,
crap.
did you see anything in the preseason that maybe changed your mind about a team, or
Hmm.
did you learn anything from the preseason?
I think I learned a few. That's the thing about preseason is the fact that we're not really seeing the starters. So I don't
Yeah,
know how much we're really going
it's
to learn
hard to
from preseason. I mean, honestly, the only
exactly.
starters that are playing, I guess, if anything, I could look at Carolina and say, okay, yeah, Baker is definitely going to be your quarterback going into the season. There's no way Darnold's going to be your quarterback there. Okay, I can say that. When it comes to the Raiders, I thought the Raiders did a good job in their backfield. I thought that with the guys that they have, Jacobs didn't play, but I thought the other guys. I thought we got a good look at them. Zamir White. I thought we got a good look at Zamir White and see what he could do as either a backfield mate or B the air replacement to Josh Jacobs at some point. But I think what I took away from mostly was Pickett. I think Pickett for the Steelers was what I took away the most, and that's just because I think between Pickett and Malik Willis, seeing what those guys did in their debuts, was phenomenal. I think both those quarterbacks, are going to have a future in this league at some point. I think
Yeah.
probably Malik Willis will probably go before. I think Malik Willis probably will make his debut before Pickett, or they could make it together because Tannehill and Trubisky, they could be out at the same damn time almost, depending on what their franchises do. So we could almost see those guys come into the league together, and that could be the next young crop of quarterbacks to come out. But for two quarterbacks that I really didn't put a lot of faith or stock in, Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett have really, made me believers that these guys, they're not going to be a bust. Like they have legitimate careers if they continue to develop, their skill sets. They're going to be fine. And I think that could be the next crop. So I think, learning those two quarterbacks, really, I saw a lot out of them that makes me wonder, and I want to see more. I think now that we know that Baker's probably going to be the legitimate Carolina guy. But outside of that, I mean, it was all just a bunch of guys trying to make the squad more so than what these teams are going to be about.
Yeah. Uh,
And that
reports.
was just obviously the debut portion. But yeah.
Yeah, reports came out Friday that
Oh,
the
and by the
Baker.
way, we also know that Jordan Love truly is garbage and
Yeah,
that he does not need to be a starter in the NFL. We learned that too.
I
Okay,
can't. I still can't believe he got drafted in the first round. But oh no, I was gonna say reports came out Friday that Baker Mayfield was blowing Darnold out for that starting job there in Carolina. And then from what I seen from over the weekend from the game, I think that kind of confirmed it.
yeah. I can't imagine, given on their performances, that you're going to see anything of Darnold other than the backup role. I think this is Baker's team, and it's going to be up to Baker, McCaffrey, and that defense if they, to make it happen. But I think Baker. I think you're going to see a different version of Baker. I think Baker's going to be happier because he's not dealing with that craziness that was going on in Cleveland. So I really kind of expect to see a different version of Baker in Carolina than what we got, you know, in Cleveland, because I think he's really wants to solidify that he does belong in this league as a starter. And I think the whole Deshaun Watson thing kind of got put a chip on his shoulder, you know, that people think that he's not a starter. And you got to understand, look, Baker, he's an extreme competitor. He's got extreme passion. And if you don't believe that, go watch it when he plants that damn flag in the O in Ohio.
Yeah.
And tell me you don't think Baker's not a competitor or got compassion or takes pride in what he does. So I think we haven't heard the last of Baker. I think he's on a mission now to prove people that, you know, he is a starter in this league. So I'm really curious to see what he does out there in Carolina and where they go from here.
Yeah. I was a Baker fan in college, and so I hope he succeeds. I've still been a Baker fan. I think the Browns done him wrong. I mean, when he got to the Browns, they were winning 1 games to 0 games a season, and he got them to the playoff. He got them to the playoffs, and then they just turned their back on him to go get Deshaun Watson. So I hope he goes to Carolina, and they play Cleveland week 1. I hope he's a starter, and I hope he puts up like 40 on Cleveland.
You know what I really think? They are not getting any credit. And it really kind of makes me think that people are just so overlooking this team. But I feel like Minnesota's just going to – I think they're just going to surprise the crap.
I think Minnesota's going to be tough.
And I had to use the C word, the right C word, not the wrong C word, instead of the S word that I wanted to say. Yeah, man, Minnesota is – I'm telling you, bro, listen, they have changed that regime. They have brought O'Connell in and his quarterback's coach from LA Rams, and you know what they did with Stafford last year. And you know Cousins is on that same level as Stafford. Those guys are top. These guys can play.
Yeah.
Just give them the freedom to play. And I'm telling you, this dude is going to have this team on point. And I'm telling you, they got all the tools they need. Every single positional player they need, they got. That team is ready. And I don't care how good Aaron Rodgers is. I don't think, athletically or coaching that they're better than Minnesota. I think Minnesota is the better team. And I'm not surprised that Minnesota wins that damn division and just completely discombobulates everybody's thinking about that.
No, I agree. I think Minnesota's going to be right there with a chance to win that division. Green Bay, their receiving core worries me. That's just like my Indianapolis Colts. I think we're strong everywhere, but except for our receiving core. Our receiving core scared me. I didn't watch much of the preseason game, but from what I heard, our receiving core didn't look real great. So that wasn't very promising news. But a lot of people said that rookie didn't look that he was having trouble getting breaking away from the defenders, getting caught up at the line, and man, you can't be having that. So hopefully that improves. But hey, it's first game. What's your thoughts on Tua after Saturday's game? It really didn't change nothing for me. I still don't think he's the guy.
I don't know. I'm not going to say he's not the guy, but I'm saying that I need to see it regular season to really believe it. Like what I'm saying is I don't think he is or isn't. I think for me, I'm right in the middle. You know what I'm saying? I'm right in the middle. And for me, it's more injuries. Can he stay healthy? I know he can make the long throw. I've seen him make the long throw. I think he can do that. I just don't know about the injury part of it. If he can stay healthy, I think that could be another guy that I think people are going to overlook, and I think he's going to surprise.
See, I don't know. I think he reads the defense fast enough. And there's times that he hesitates to pull the trigger. I think if he can get over that, he might be all right. But I was never a Tua fan in college.
I'll give you that. He does. But he hasn't really played a lot either. I think that still comes. Look, you got to understand.
That's true.
Tua's still developing as a quarterback too. He has
Yeah.
not had, you know what I'm saying, that consistency on the field. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it took, I mean, even look at Burrow. Burrow's first year was nothing because he got hurt.
And in all due fairness to Tua, he had a coach that didn't believe in him. So I mean that was,
you know what? I'm telling you, man, you don't think that stuff don't mess with your brain?
because Flores would rather start Fitzpatrick over Tua.
And here's the deal, man. Look, I'm not saying I realize this is college. I'm not stupid. I know what I'm about to say is college related. But at the same time, he did get a damn national championship with Bama when he took over for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, if you remember right, Jalen Hurts was pulled out of that game because he wasn't effective throwing the damn ball. They gave it to Tua, and Tua took him to the damn promised land. So don't tell me, but everybody's so high on Jalen Hurts this and Jalen Hurts that. Well, last time I checked,
I'm not high on Jalen Hurts. I'm not high on Jalen Hurts either.
No, but you know, but do you?
I know what you're saying.
What I'm saying?
Oh yeah, there's a lot. Oh yeah,
himself.
if you watch ESPN or any of the big national media, that's all they talk about is how good the Eagles are going to be and Jalen Hurts. I'm thinking, what has he done to prove anything yet?
And that's what I'm saying. So before people start, rushing to just dump on Tua, let's give the guy a full year. And what I'm saying is, look, let this be the year for Tua. And that's what I said. I'm right at 0. I'm not -10. I'm not +10. I'm at 0. And I figure by week 6, I'm going to have a good indicator on whether or not Tua, really is it or he's not it. But I don't want to say that he can't do the job without first seeing at least 6 games, under his belt. And he has the team. Let's not forget. Miami has the running backs. They've got the offensive line. They've got the tight end in Gesicki. They've got the wide receivers and Waddle and so forth. They got what they need to be, honestly, number 2, even if not, maybe even number 1. And I know it's going to be crazy to see you're going to take out the Bills, but this team has a lot. They got a better running back, in my opinion, Miami does, than what they have in Singletary with Buffalo. That's why I say that. I'm not saying that Miami's going to beat the Bills, but what I'm saying is don't overlook them. I think they can come in at least a solid number 2 under the Bills.
Yeah.
We always go to Dak. See, that's why I don't like Damon, man. Look, just because we're talking about 2, now you're gonna bring Dak into. What did Dak prove? Dak proved that he can hit 5,000 yards in a regular season. Okay, great. Dak, we all know. Look, we've had this. I'm even sick and tired of talking about it. We know that Dak is a regular season quarterback. When it comes to the playoffs, he's not. Okay. But also, by that same token, I want you to remember that Dak's coaching staff, in my opinion, this is a Cowboys fan. I don't believe in McCarthy. Everybody knows that. Kellen Moore, I'm not 100% on because I feel like Kellen Moore doesn't put enough motion in the Cowboys offense to let Dak be effective, which I think the Cowboys offense is extremely predictable because of the lack of motion. And I think that's why the running game doesn't get going as well as it should. And I think that's why the receiving game doesn't go as well as it should. And I think play calling, as we've seen in the postseason, under every damn coach that's been at Dallas is not even Barry Switzer, Jimmy Johnson, because we all know Barry Switzer got the Super Bowl because of Jimmy Johnson's team that gave it to him. But Dallas has not really had that coach that can get him over the top. There's no Sean McVay. There's no, Matt LaFleur or Andy Reid, those types of coaches that, have good coordinators like a Bieniemy, things like that can be innovative. Dallas has always been very antiquated on their play calling, number 1. And as you saw against the 49ers, Dallas has always committed lots of penalties or lack of discipline on the team. So you can't just put everything all on Dak and say Dak this and Dak that, because, again, Dak has been, in my opinion, his development has been handcuffed by the lack of developmental coaches around him. So let's not put it all on Dak, okay? Let's keep a much broader idea of what's really going on, David. I know that's hard for you, Trubisky, for an hour on your bed that we all watch. Maybe that's a little higher thinking than what you're used to. I understand.
But the Cowboys had Jason Garrett.
Shut your mouth. But because again, Jason Garrett is a yes, but he's that same Jerry mold.
I
I don't even
know.
think I've ever really truly been a Jason Garrett fan, honestly.
No,
You know what I mean?
no, he
He
would.
sucked as
Jason.
he sucked as a backup quarterback too. Because remember, he was Troy Aikman's backup.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't understand why Jerry stuck with him for so long. Just I
Because
guess because he
Jerry
was.
just look, man. Sometimes I think I have two opinions about Jerry Jones. I think A, he's egotistical. I think B, he got lucky with bringing in Jimmy Johnson, who basically got them those Super Bowls. But I think Jerry's about the dollar. And I think as long as Jerry's getting the money Jerry's getting and he has control over the team, then, life is good. And that's where he's at. I mean, as
I
much
don't
as I
know.
hate to say it,
I think he wants one more Super Bowl, and I think he knows that he don't have. He's going. He's going to be running out of
now,
chances.
if he wanted one more damn Super Bowl, his ass would have went out and got a damn GM and switched up the game. I think Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones' own worst enemy, is what I think. I think he gets his own way. Honestly, I think Jerry Jones gets in his own way. And why he hasn't made a trade for Roquan Smith to come in and pair up with Micah Parsons on the linebacker side is crazy because I would love to have a Roquan Smith. And I know Roquan is ready to be traded, and I think the Bears would make that trade. You said y'all criticizing Tua and Hurts so bad, but can y'all tell me what happened?
Well,
Okay, what happened?
Matt Ryan's been a league MVP, so that's a bad example there, Damian. Dak's won his division. Cousins has played at a high level in this league. Tua and Hurts are just getting into the league and starting to get into to see what they have. I just said I haven't seen enough from
this,
I haven't
I'm
seen
really
enough
going
from
to take
Tua or
Damien,
Hurts to
and
be
I'm
able
going
to
to
say
block
that they're at
him
the top.
sometimes. Can we block Damien? Can we block him? Is it possibly to block somebody from their own selves? I love you, Damien. You know I do, but your takes are horrible. Literally, man. I mean, I think Blue, my French Mastiff, could give better predictions at this point right now.
Blue. I
If
love
Blue's
it.
half drunk and
You my boy
asleep,
Blue.
you're my boy Blue. I'll tell you what, hey, I've always said this, man. That dog, if I was not married, God rest her soul, I love Melanie to death, but if I was not married to a single man, Blue is better than Plenty of Fish. He's better than Christian Meat Singles and Coffee Meat. He's better than any dating website. I take that dog outside. There's so many women flocking around that damn dog. It's stupid. But I got the best woman ever. Melanie, I love you. You're the best woman. I would never leave you. I am so dating outside of my league.
How's she feeling?
She's better. She's back to work, man. COVID is done. She's wearing a mask. She's teaching the kiddos and doing her job. She's doing well.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
It's funny, man. Hey, you want to hear a funny story? And I don't want to take too long with this, but when I first met Melanie at a coffee shop, we met on Coffee Meets Bagel website, and I met her at a coffee shop, and I remember talking to her, and she said she was in college, she's getting ready to graduate, and she's doing this, she's doing that. And I'm thinking, like, man, this girl's so out of my league. Why am I sitting at this damn table, man? And then I gave her a kiss and I walked away. And she said, Jason, I remember when you gave me that kiss and you walked away. You thought you had it in the bag. You didn't have nothing in the bag. I was still controlling it. But the funny thing about it was I thought she was out of my league, and she thought she was out of her league dating me. So we both thought we were out of each other's leagues, but yet here we are married, and it's crazy life we live. Let's talk real quick, if you don't mind, Giannis. Can we talk about Giannis just for a second?
Yeah.
Hey, so Giannis has said at some point in his career, now we don't know what that point means, but at some point in his career, he would not mind playing for the Chicago Bulls. They asked him that. Did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
Could you imagine how Mike Hughes would feel if one day Giannis just wound up on the Chicago Bulls?
Oh man,
that guy would be on cloud nine, wouldn't he?
If you're a player, what I understand that he might want to play with the Bulls someday, and he might. But why would you even say that? Because now you're going to have to answer all these questions. you know what I mean? It just opens up. So it just opens up the media jumping on you.
Oh yeah, of course it does. You know, he said, "Look, I'm loyal to the Bucks. The Bucks are my team." I think what he was referring to and what he said was towards the end of his career, you know, he wouldn't mind playing with the Bucks, which I'm okay with. Hey, look, man, if you want to give, you know, the Bucks 10, 12, whatever years, you want to and you want to go play with the Bulls, hey, go play with the Bulls because you gave them 10 or 12 years. You got them a damn ring that they
I,
haven't had in a while. So you know, you showed your loyalty. It's
I mean,
all good.
honestly, he could leave the Bucks now, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Hey,
Yeah.
he got him a championship.
I mean, it's not uncommon though for nowadays for players to move on to other teams
Yeah.
because they want to go play with this person or that person, or they want to play for this franchise because of them. Like he says, who wouldn't want to play for Chicago? They had the greatest player to ever play the game that played here. They've got championships. So I can understand the mystique
Him
of
and
wanting to
KD are
go
going to
play
team
for
up in
Chicago.
Chicago.
Hey, look, because you know that Giannis is extremely loyal to the Bucks. He really has been
Yes.
loyal to them. You know what I'm saying? He gave him a ring. I mean, and he didn't leave. He didn't jump ship after the ring. He's not jumping ship there or jumping ship. He's staying true to the Bucks. So I mean, sometimes a franchise needs to reward a
And I still
player if
think,
they've given them so many years or decades of playing experience. Give them a reward. Let
and I
the guy
still
out.
think there's a decent chance that if Middleton wouldn't have been hurt, the Bucks might at least been in the finals
I
again.
believe in that too. Matter of fact, you know how I was on the Bucks coming out of the East. That was my team coming out of the East. That's why I had in the finals was the Bucks. And I believe, and I still believe firmly that Middleton being out really hurt their chances of getting to the finals. And I'll tell you this, I think having lost PJ Tucker really hurt them from getting into the finals. Of course, PJ Tucker now is with the 76ers because I thought PJ Tucker gave him that nastiness, gave him that
Yep.
defensive presence that they really
Yep.
that sometimes you need that toughness down low. And I felt like he gave them that. And now that they kind of lost that, that's not really Giannis's wheelhouse to be the nasty guy down low. That's just not who he is. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I don't know. I think that kind of hurts them a little bit, man. I mean, yeah, they get Middleton back, and I still think they're the best team in the East. When they get Middleton back, if they can stay healthy, I still had them going to the finals at least one more time. Yeah, hell no to Katie. I don't think anybody would want Katie at this point. That guy, he's just so, Katie, he's just so toxic at this point. You know what I mean? Like the guy is just straight up toxic.
If I'm that Brooklyn Nets owner, I don't trade him. And I keep my
Yeah.
same coaching staff, and I tell them you either play or you sit out. It's up to you.
I got to be honest with you. I thought from the moment this was done that the Nets were just making the wrong decisions. I felt like when it came to an aging Harden, they gave up way more than what they should have for Harden. Hey, not that I'm complaining because, hey, my Rockets benefited mightily off of it. For a guy who doesn't really I don't want to say he doesn't do a lot in the playoffs, but he disappears. It's a different Harden in the playoffs than it is in the regular
Yeah, that's
season.
fair.
So I thought they gave up kind of too much for a guy like that. I thought Harden should have stayed as a sixth man because I think he's not a leader of a team. He's not a clear number one, but he's a hell of a good sixth man. And I think he could give you 6 men. Not that you couldn't even put him in there to start a rotation, maybe, but he's not going to be the leader of your team. This is not going to happen. And Kyrie Irving's not the leader of the team because this dude, Kyrie Irving, even when you saw him in with the Celtics, that guy's a head case. Talented beyond everything under the sun, got handles for days. But when you're a head case like that, that plays a big part. And then you go out and get a guy like Durant, again, phenomenal player. But he's a head case too because he's toxic the way he thinks, and he's not a real leader. He doesn't want to be a leader. He doesn't want to do leadership type things. So there's no clear leader. You got a bunch of crazy, individual star guys. And then you got a coach who this is his first time ever taking on a franchise. That's a lot to put on Steve Nash's shoulders when you got this type of thing. I mean, if it would have been a Spoelstra or Popovich or Phil Jackson, somebody, Pat Riley, somebody who has, lots and lots and lots of championship experience with multi-talented individuals, then yeah, you could probably make that work. But not under Steve Nash's reign. He did not have the credentials or the experience to handle that type of personality clash. He just didn't have it.
No. And he done it honestly, with everything that happened, he done a good job of getting them to the playoffs with dealing with all the distractions that Kyrie and KD bring to the team.
Right.
And then the stuff going on with Harden and then Ben Simmons and so
let me ask you a question. I'm not one to give it to player demands, but if you are Tsai, I guess that's how you say the owner's name is TSAI. Tsai. He's got the weirdest last name ever.
yeah.
If you're him at this point, or even if you're the general manager, Mark Scott or something like that is, at this point, do you say, look, we got this group of guys. They don't like the coach. You know what I'm saying? But they also know there's a toxic environment. But you still have the winning formula to be a championship contender if you can bring the right coach in to lead these guys. Do you still try to keep the team together and reformulate under a different coach, even though that's completely unfair to Steve Nash? But it is what it is. And Steve Nash, like Jason Kidd, can always regroup and get on as an assistant with somebody else or even a head coach with somebody else. I don't think that Brooklyn was the right fit for Steve right off the rip. So, do you give this roster another opportunity under a different coach at this point? And if so, what coach is out there that would want to lead this? Or would you even go after?
I don't know. I think I keep the coach. I don't think you want to set the precedent that a star player can decide who your GM and who your coach is. You start setting that precedent, it's going to be hard for GMs and owners to get any kind of control back. You know what I mean?
We already know that precedent's been started. Just go to the opposite coast and look at LA and know that precedent's been started.
That's true.
And I agree with you. Because if you look at both franchises under that mindset, neither one of them are doing anything.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I can almost predict it at this point that Durant's going to sit out the season, right? He's going to sit it out. He ain't playing under Steve Nash. He's going to sit it out. And I think that he becomes so toxic to the organization that he forces them basically to trade him and take whatever the hell it is they can get at this point. Not necessarily what they were seeking, but I think they get whatever they can get because he's going to just become that toxic. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it could.
I mean, what's the quickest way out of a franchise? Quickest way out of a franchise is just to become toxic.
Yep. I don't know. Man, if you're the owner, it puts you in a tough situation.
Of course it puts you in a tough situation. They've been in a tough situation.
But they put themselves there too. So I can't feel too bad for them because they put themselves there as well.
Right.
You knew what you were getting when you got Kyrie. It's not been no secret that Kyrie's been a head case. You know what I mean? It ain't like it just now started in Brooklyn. He's had problems.
I think that if I was Brooklyn's ownership and I was going to hire a head coach, I would have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving sit in on the interview process of whatever coach I deemed, and I would have some sort of question answer banter back and forth between my star players and the coach to see if they're a mesh before I bring on a coach. Does that make, you know what I'm saying? Because if you got that much money tied up into those two guys and you know you're going to ride or die with those two guys, you need to have a coach that they can buy into. And how they buy into it, unless they can talk with that coach, figure out the philosophy of the team, see how things go, and then kind of just go from there rather than just bring in a coach and say, hey, here's your coach. Live or die by it.
Yeah.
You know, which they kind of did.
Yeah. I mean,
Katie ain't going to Philly. Katie not going to Philly. KD not going to Philly because who's Philly going to give up for KD? They want prospects. They want players. I don't think.
Yeah. No.
That'd be a really hard sell for them. And I don't think that's even functional. Well, it could be functional. I mean, it could be because maybe Embiid. No, I say it's not functional because Embiid couldn't even be a good leader to Ben Simmons. How's he going to be a leader to KD?
That's what I was getting ready to say. All it's going to be is going to be the same thing you have in Brooklyn. You're going to have a team with some great players, but no leader.
And I don't know if Doc, even though Doc Rivers has had, big time personalities, I don't know if he can handle the likes of that. I don't know. That'd be a hard one to say. That'd be a hard one. I don't know that Daryl Morey is the type of guy now that is known to go after big time marquee players if the ownership will support it. So it wouldn't be out of the realm for him to try that, but I don't think they do it. I think they are currently happy with the way their team is constructed, and I think they're going to ride with it. To be honest with you, at this point, anyway. Man, what a time to be alive, though. Why? I mean, there's so many good. And I think what KD wanted with Brooklyn was what he had with Golden State. He wanted that free flowing type of offense where he didn't have to be the leader, but he could play within the system. But he wanted that real free flowing style of team that had that great continuity, that great cohesion that the Dubs had and everything, and the great coach of Steve Kerr, whatever. So he went to Brooklyn thinking he could get that with Kyrie and so forth. And they thought they could bring in their friends like DeAndre Jordan and so forth, and they could create that Golden State environment. The problem is, KD, the problem is Kyrie. When you only played 17 games together this previous year, and he played in 27 games together that previous year before that, and you've only been on the court 90 games throughout your entire tenure at Brooklyn, how the hell are you going to build that level of cohesiveness?
Yeah, that was the problem. They never played together, and then you get in the playoffs against these teams that play together all year, and you're at a disadvantage.
Right. And I think KD was just so unrealistic of the X. If you want to build that type of team, guess what? You have to build that type of team, which means you have to be on the court to build that type of team. What, you think the Dubs just became the Dubs? Golden State just became Gold? No, they had to play together, to get to that continuity level.
Yes.
And he wanted it overnight. He thought he could just build that super team and next year be ready to go. Well, it don't happen like that. I don't care who you are. Even in Miami, when you saw Miami put together that big three, they didn't win right off the rip. They lost a lot until they developed their continuity under Spoelstra. And then when Spoelstra got on the same page, and then they won those 2 championships.
Yes.
But even they struggled. And that was Braun, Wade, and Bosh, amongst others. Ray Allen, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? And I just think KD is a very unrealistic person. I think his expectations are just not realistic.
Man,
and I think that's the biggest problem for them.
Yeah. It just don't make no sense to me that you sign a 4-year deal, and then all of a sudden you just want out. If I'm a team, he's almost getting to the point where I treat him like I treat Irving. I'm going to start giving you a 1 or a 2 year deal because I can't trust you to be there. Once it gets a little tough, you're going to want to leave.
Right. Damien's talking about Thibault and Maxey for KD, but the problem is
they want more than that.
I don't even think that too. Yeah, they definitely want more than that. But the Thibault and the Maxey, they already got those guys in Seth Curry and Joe Harris. So they already got those pieces that you're trying to trade. They've already got those pieces plugged into their starting group. So I don't know if that really helps them as much. I think you'd have to throw Tobias Harris in there or somebody like that along with draft picks. Maybe Maxey and Harris with draft picks might work. But you're going to have to throw at least 3 or 4 draft picks in there to get their attention. I would say 3. Because I know the Lakers put in 2 draft picks, and that didn't get them excited. So I'm saying at least 3 to 4 draft picks in order for Brooklyn to even say or commit to that.
Yeah.
Which I think Brooklyn is completely on. Crazy what time it is to be alive.
Oh yeah. Well, all right. You got any final thoughts before we get out of here for today, Jay?
Oh, final thoughts, man. Hey, my final thoughts is go Astros.
Oh,
Oh,
Astro.
final thoughts. Hey, listen, man. Unscripted has a fantasy football league going. Make sure you check it out. It's on our Facebook page, Unscripted Facebook page. The link is there with the password and all that. It's on NFL.com. That's our league. Our league is on NFL.com. So make sure you check that out, Unscripted. I think we got 3 or 4 spots left on there, and then we're going to be full. So get in on that, Unscripted. Tuesdays, Thursdays, 7 Eastern, and Saturday, 8 Eastern. Man, what a good time to be alive on this show, Gonzo.
Yeah, make sure you watch Unscripted tomorrow night, 7 p.m. I have a new show starting tonight at 6 o'clock. If you're an Indianapolis Colts fan, be doing horseshoe talk. So come join me for that at 6 p.m. Eastern.
I'm not a horseshoe fan, Gonzo, but I'll share the hell out of your show, though.
I know you're a Cowboy fan.
It goes against my religion, but I'll still support you. I'll share the hell out of it.
I'm dropping shit. Ah, okay. All right. Well, you got anything else, Jay?
Nah, I think I'm good. Again, hey guys, man, hey, just keep living life, man, and watching these sports, man. I'm telling you, baseball, it's about to get nasty as we get closer and closer to playoff time, and we're gonna start really seeing some good series come about. And
And you have
man,
the
woo!
Little League World Series.
Oh, that's right, we do. We
That
have the
starts
Little League World
Wednesday.
Series. Yeah.
Actually, the softball World Series is on. The championship game is on right now, and it's in extra innings. But
What channel is
the
that
base,
on? What channel is that on?
ESPN, and
I'll
then
have to give it a look. See.
and then the boys thing starts Wednesday. The team from Indiana don't play till Thursday, so I'll be rooting for them.
Nice. Yes, I love watching Little League baseball because I'm telling you, man, that one in college,
Yeah.
that's the only time you really see baseball when it's not being money driven.
Yep. Exactly. You just see them out there playing for the love of the game. Just
And I tell you, man, that's where NFL kind of loses its touch. Is it's so money driven now that
yep.
It's like the purity of the game has really kind of been, and that's really all sports, right? Basketball, football. I mean, once you get to that level, you lose a lot of the purity of the game because of the business side.
Yep.
Right? It just is what it is.
Yep. No, you're exactly right.
Let me ask you this. God dang it, man. We can go on forever, man. You know what? No, you know what? I'm gonna say this. Hey, so what is today? Tuesday? Wednesday?
Monday.
Tuesday? Monday? Is today Monday?
Yep.
Wednesday. I gotta Tuesday. Hey, Tuesday's topic. We're gonna talk about, hey, the NIL and what all is doing for the college athletes. But I want to take it. I want to look at it from a different angle. What does paying college athletes now do for the purity of NCAA sports? Because it used to be everybody loved NCAA sports because they don't get paid and everybody's out there trying to, get to that next level. But now that NIL is paying these athletes, will it start to hurt the integrity of NCAA sports? Turn it into more of a professional sports environment. So, what does NIL truly mean for the game that we, grew up on watching as a developmental system for sports?
I just wrote that down for tomorrow, so I won't forget.
In the books, baby, in the books.
Hey, I have to write everything down. I got a calendar over here with I write everything on.
Hey, listen,
If
you're
I
no
don't, I
different than me. You're no different than me. I have to write stuff. Trust me. I write stuff down. Well, can you see that? Can I see that? Can I see that? Can I see that? All right, hold on. There you go. I had to figure out where to put it. I write stuff down too, Gonzo. I'm right there with you because, hey, listen, man, I turn 50 next month, so you know how that goes.
And if I don't write stuff on a calendar, I'll have myself double booked. Or I'll have all kinds of stuff at the same time. So it's like,
You're old when you go to the doctor's office for what you think is a routine checkup, and then he holds up a glove with a finger with some stuff on the end of it. You're like, "What are you going to do with that, sir?" Just saying. That's the first minute you know you're old. When that becomes part of your routine healthy checkup, life as you know it has come to an end.
That's for sure. Looks like Texas might get them a Little League World Series softball championship.
Is that right?
They're up by one. They're one out away.
I saw. I was just. Is that on ESPN HD or is that? Because I don't see it on mine. I don't, maybe because we get different programs. Because I got this just in on ESPN.
Well,
and I got Basketball European Tour.
On my guide it says this just in, but but that's not what's on. It's
I clicked on it. Let me see if it comes up. Oh, it is softball. I'll be damned. Okay, yeah, I'm watching it.
I guess the game was supposed to be later in the day, but they moved it up because of rain.
So it ran over into other shows' program is what happened. Okay, that makes sense now.
Well, yep.
Yeah, Texas is up over. Is that Maryland 5-4?
Texas just won.
Oh snap! Wow, and is that Little League softball? Is that what that is?
Yeah, Little League softball, 10 to 12-year-olds.
Wow. Go Texas. Damn it, I'm telling you, Texas is on the rise.
If you look at the box score, Maryland had more hits and scored less runs. That's crazy how that happens a lot.
Well, you know what that tells me is that they got guys on base and then left them stranded on base.
Yep.
That's what that's telling you. And that's telling you that fact that they went 5 for 5 Texas. That means Texas drove in all their dudes on base. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a home run in that damn score.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it.
But you know what I'm saying?
Sometimes I know what you're saying. Yeah, there might have been a home run. I didn't see the home run because I was kind of watching it here and there, but I love watching. I can't wait till Wednesday and the boys start back up.
When you have more, when you have like that many hits and you only have fewer runs, that means you left some dudes on base.
And that'll come back and kill you every time in a baseball or softball game.
Hell yeah!
That and walks.
We hate Baker Mayfield. He was an Oklahoma guy. I'm a Texas guy.
Stranding runs and walks will kill you every time.
Man, listen, them walks will kill you. That's the thing, right? I mean, when you get a walk, it's one thing to give up a hit. Okay, they earned that. But when you give up a walk, that means you gave them that run. Like you physically handed them that easy run. And that's why I hate walks. But unless it's for my team, then it's
and usually you give up a walk and then something bad happens. Usually there's a base hit or usually something happens, it seems like, once you give that walk up.
Oh, it inevitably happens. It happened. I've seen where walks have killed. Even Astros would have given up walks and it's hurt them in the end. I mean, it just leads to a bad inning because, man, all you got to do is get a base hit and that walk becomes a run.
Yep.
It is what it is.
Yep. Well, all right. We will see everybody tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern for another episode of the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports.